welcome back to another episode of the Jonathan David Detox Show, where we talk about detoxing the old ways that don't serve us in all areas of life and stepping into the new versions of ourselves. Today, we have a powerhouse guest, Jack McGregor himself. Jack is a divine masculinity coach. He coaches men who have ticked all the boxes, right? The money, the success, the title, but still somehow feel like something's missing. He helps these men break through the bullshit, lead with the truth, and reclaim their divine masculine power. Jack, I'm so excited to have you on the show because this is a topic very near and dear to my heart, brother. Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Yeah, I'm glad we got to have a couple of minutes before we jumped on. And yeah, I was saying earlier, it's such an honor to have a conversation with you. It always is. And I'm super excited for today's chat.
Woo! Yeah, man. Yeah, Jack, you and I met each other, about a year and a half ago?
Yeah, I think, just that, yeah, bit over a year ago. Yeah, I think end of last year, or end of, sorry, 23.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's been a interesting journey. We've shared a lot of stories with each other, and we share some similar paths. So
Yeah. Yeah, we looked a little bit more similar when I had my long beard, but yeah, we definitely have a lot of similarities. Jack is in Australia on the other side of the world. I'm in Arizona right now. So it's really cool that we were able to find a time to get on a show together here. And yeah, talk about this stuff. I mean, Jack, there's so many topics we can talk about, but I'm really wanting to talk about and highlight what I love about you is how you have just picked up the pieces of your life and built a beautiful life with it, and you're continuing to build. And that's exactly what I did, especially after my divorce 2 years ago. And so seeing another brother do that, I know that journey is colored with all kinds of loneliness, up and down. But I guess before I ask this question, I guess let's hear a little bit about, like, where did all this start for you? How did you get into teaching men about masculinity? Because I know before we went live here, you were talking about how the men you work with, you get because you've been there as well. You've been lost, disconnected, playing the part, but you found your way back to your purpose. So what did that look like?
yeah, for sure. Thanks for the question. It's a great question, and I guess I'll try to give you the TLDR version because otherwise it can span a long time. But it started probably about 10 years ago or a bit over 10 years ago. I was working in my own cafe, and everything was going fantastically. I was making, well, I thought on the outside everything was going fantastically. I was making fantastic money, like about $1,000 a day as a 21-year-old here in Australia, running my own business. I was employing other people. Things going great, right? Internally, though, I didn't feel like I was successful. I didn't feel fulfilled, even though this external marker, which I had been kind of, the societal pressure had put on me that making money is how you become a man and being the provider is how you become a man. I was doing those things, but I didn't feel any more like a man. I didn't feel like I thought I would becoming this successful business guy. And so that really started or it accelerated my interest into psychology and more why I do what I do. I'd always kind of had an idea of, I could read people pretty well, and that kind of led into being interested in other people, but I had no idea why I was doing what I was doing, and I felt disconnected as I was running this business because I was spending so much time there, like 14 hours a day in my cafe, 7 days a week, to then go home and spend, an hour or two with my partner and feeling disconnected with her because, I'm focused here trying to be the provider because we've got this place where we want to go, but I'm actually not there ever. I'm then just, smoking some weed to take the edge off. And this is just a big cycle. So I'm always staying constantly busy, thinking that if I stop working, then I don't have any value, right? So that was the start of that whole long journey. And over the past 10 years, I've been in other businesses, I've started other businesses, I've lost other businesses. I've gone through this big process of thinking that, all these different businesses is where I need to pursue and where I need to, spend all my time and energy. But in all honesty, it was internally that I needed to spend that time and energy. And over the past probably 2-3 years, I've really gone on a healing journey. Like the past 10 years have been a self-reflection journey, but I think the past 3 years have almost been healing that part of the part of myself that was
Mm.
lost there as who am I as a man. And yeah, along that way, I realized that there's so many men that are also lost in different capacities. Like we're all chasing this external validation. So many of us we don't know how to show up in our relationships. So many of us are still living the lies that we inherited as children, pushed onto us as our limiting beliefs. So, you're you're worthless, or you're not good enough, or you're an idiot, whatever it might be, right? We carry these stories into our adulthood, and they, create our lives essentially until we reprogram them. So that's kind of where it started, and then yeah, where I got to now is about, well, like you said when we met, we both started on a very similar journey, just sharing our story online, and that seemed to take off for me. And then I realized that this is something what I've wanted to do for a long time. I wanted to run physical men's retreats, like helping men get out of their heads into their bodies and do things like
Mhm.
that. And when I started the social media side of things, I realized, hey, I can actually talk to guys all over the world right now. I can spread this message online. I don't have to be in a physical location. While that's still going to happen, for the meantime, I can share this message online, and I think it's been pretty well received considering the audience I've grown. So yeah, I've been very very honored that so many people resonate with my message, I guess, and that I'm able to touch so many people.
Yeah, man. I've loved watching your journey from creating your Instagram, what, like just over a year ago?
Yeah, yeah, start of last year.
And you've got what, almost 100,000 followers?
93 or 94,000 now. Yeah,
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 yeah. That's
wild.
that's so many people that you're in front of. I saw something the other day that was like, people complain when they get 1,000 views on a reel or 100 views, and it showed a picture of 100 people,
Mm,
and then a picture of 1,000 people, and 100,000, and it's like we have to remember that, yeah, maybe not all those people are engaged viewers, but we're getting in front of people, sharing something
yeah,
that's impacted us. Therefore, I know it's impacting other people. And what you share about the awareness of what it's like to be a man, these common things that we've been conditioned with since childhood, and how a lot of it's unconsciously running in the background, controlling our life, our decisions, or at least influencing them, resonates with me so much in the journey that I've been on. And so, yeah, I just want to say thank you for the way you're serving the rising kings of this world.
appreciate it, man. Thank you. And like, I feel the support, and I think there is a collective consciousness uprising that this is a choice people are making to go down the hard path. Like, personal development's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it's
Yeah.
one of the most worth it. Like, it's the most rewarding thing as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm no astrologer, but I follow it as much as I can. And there's something to do with Neptune. I don't know what it is. Maybe you know, but it basically just came into. I don't think it's retrograde, but it's something to where 2025 to 2039 is like the rise of the sacred masculine, like the reawakening.
Mm,
And I know it's been awakened in a lot of us in years past, but I see it now happening to myself on a deeper level and also a lot of other men in this world. And it's so exciting because that's to me bringing back the cohesiveness, the relationship, the union on the inside of us,
mm.
therefore on the outside of us, of the sacred masculine and the divine feminine. And that's beautiful. Is that kind of what you see happening?
I agree, and I think that's yeah. I didn't know that there was kind of that shift happening, almost like on an astrological thing. I'd love to look into that, but I think you're right. Like I've been feeling that we've been at a precipice for a while here, and we've been standing on this edge of huge change, almost just waiting for enough of the collective to take that shift. And I think you're exactly right when you're talking about that being creating harmony within ourselves, finding that balance of that
Mm-hmm.
feminine and that masculine energy, because it exists within all of us. And for too long, I think we've tried to remove the masculine from the masculine and the feminine from the feminine, and unfortunately, it's been pushed into the other side. And we could go on for hours about what issues I think that's caused, but I think we should be focused on like kind of where it can lead to with the solutions and the
Mm-hmm.
benefits from regaining that balance within ourselves, and then you're able to have that polarity within your relationships. You're able to have that dance of the masculine and the feminine. Like what I think I've realized, and I think, a lot of other philosophies, this isn't a new realization, obviously, in the world, but I think life is just about balance at the end of the day. It's just about balance. Like balancing those energies within us, balancing how we express ourselves, balancing the energies we receive. Like, yeah.
Amen, man. And one of my old mentors told me, he's like, it's more about harmony than balance because harmony is like a cohesive relationship.
Mhm.
Balance can be perceived as an even on each
Right.
side. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because some people, have more masculine, more feminine. I feel personally a very good balance on both. I feel like energetically and spiritually, I'm androgynous when it comes to that.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of past lifetimes as women, remembrance of those, and then I'm definitely very masculine in a male body in this lifetime. And yeah, it's fun, man. It's endless discovery when we start looking at it through the lens of balancing or harmonizing these energies. And yeah, it's fun to see more and more people awakening to this, coming
Mm.
back to self.
Yeah, and integrating, because I think too many people run from those parts of themselves, right? Like when I'm not sure if I definitely know you experienced some form of this when you were in your military service, like that whole pressure of, guys got to be guys, man up, don't cry, like,
Yeah.
all of that macho, that bullshit, right? It's like not letting you feel into your emotions, or if you do feel into emotions, you get in trouble for them. Even from when we're a child, right? It's like all that stuff gets pushed down, especially for men, that we spend so much time suppressing our emotions that we don't get to live the full human experience because of that. We're limiting ourselves and we're limiting our expression, and we're limiting our ability to receive in that scenario too.
Amen, man. And you just said a key word, receive. Like I look at receiving as a feminine act or allowance, basically. And I think that's why a lot of us men are learning the money game because money
Hmm.
to me is a feminine energy. And to be able to receive, you have to be tapped into your feminine energy and be okay with receiving. And that's been one of the hardest things for me to accept things for free, to
Mm.
accept things that I didn't earn, that I didn't bust my ass for, all this stuff, that we were conditioned with.
Right, right. And that's an interesting point too, like what you just said there about earning, right? It's like because you're right, we are conditioned to think that our value is so tied to what we produce or provide as men
Mm-hmm.
that we fail to realize that sometimes our value, we fail to realize that our value is just in our existence, right? That just by purely being, we are worthy of receiving.
Yes. Amen. Like we were born worthy. You
Mm.
can't lose that worthiness, can't add any more to it. We're just worthy.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, it can be it's such an airy concept to kind of conceive that I can appreciate why so many men struggle with it because
Mm-hmm.
it's not something that you can just look at logically and be like, "Oh, I get it." Like
Right.
you've got to enter into that feminine energy and feel it. You've got to feel that you're worthy. You've got to feel into it. Like there's no other way around it. You can't think your way into it.
So true, man. It's such a good point that we can't logically understand what it means to tap into our feminine energy. We have to feel it. That's so true.
Yeah. And I mean, whether that's like through like like you said, like giving an exchange thing. So it could be as simple as I don't know, you and your partner giving each other a massage, right? And then like you actually asking her for what you want during massage. Oh yeah, can you like a bit harder there or a bit like instead of just being like, yeah, that's good, right? It's like just so
Yeah.
many of us are so much like that too. Like everything's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Like we'll just take it. Like
Yeah. Amen. How beautiful is that to be able to come back to ourselves where we get to fully express and not feel bad about it because we're doing it from a place of truly loving ourselves and the people around us. And yeah, from there we tweak and we adjust, but like just expressing.
right, right. And because like on the other side of that, what is it? It's fear. It's fear of loss, it's fear of abandonment, it's fear of rejection. If we ask for what we want, that's what's under there, right? Because of
Mm-hmm.
because of our conditioning, because of our programming, and all of that underlying bullshit that we have running. Like essentially, computer software, right? That's been running since day dot that we've never updated. We've never gone in there and kind of enhanced it. And so
Hmm.
that we sit there and then that's what turns guys into those nice guys, those people pleasers that personally I think is a manipulative trait. And I've been there before, being that nice guy, thinking that, oh, if I just hold the line, if I don't say what I want, I'm not rocking the boat. I'm going to keep everyone. That doesn't keep everyone happy, man. Like all that does is that just pulls you further away from your truth and further away from your centered.
Amen, man. Yeah, let's talk about that because that I feel like is a pandemic that is not talked about enough. And for instance, I didn't know what nice guy syndrome was until about 3 years ago when I read the
Sure.
book by Dr. Robert Glover, No More Mr. Nice Guy. And
Yep.
it smacked me right between the eyes. I was like, ooh, that is me. And it took me a solid year of going to men's groups specifically for that, diving in, doing the work, focusing on that. That was my main focus for an entire year before I really started to see a separation between the nice guy tendencies and my behavior now. And then, over the last year, I've been able to integrate this growth into relationships, and it's made all the difference. So it's a pandemic, but it's also, we can change it, we can tweak it. And
Mm.
so I know you work with a lot of men. So I'm very curious, what's your experience with the nice guy syndrome, Ben, in clients, yourself, whatever?
Yeah, again, fantastic question. I think it's one that so many of us we don't realize that that's what we're doing. We think that we're just trying to yeah, like hold the line, be keep everyone happy, be like, be easy to get along with, right? And like because like I said, those are the things that we're told as children, right? Like even through school, it's like make it easier to get along with everyone else, just appease people. But like there's so much betrayal that happens there from within ourselves that we step so far away from what it is that we want during those times, or what we know that we want, that when you come back to being that kind man versus that nice guy, like trying to rebuild that kind man, that can be so hard. That can be so much work because you've spent so long betraying yourself or not showing up for yourself fully that you don't even know what that looks like now. That you don't even know what that feels like now. That feels like disconnection. That feels like I'm causing issues. That feels like I'm being like confrontational or conflicting. But that is just it comes down to things like learning to say no, feeling when something is a no within you and then not doing that thing, not overextending yourself into, I'm gonna pardon my French here if you don't mind. Do you mind if we swear here?
No, not at all, brother.
Not at all. Cool.
I'm an old
I've got a
sailor. I swear all
concept
the
that
time.
great, because I've got a concept that I call the fuck cup, right? And so the fuck cup is everyone has a certain amount of fucks in your cup at the start of the day. You can only give X amount of fucks out throughout the day. Now, where you pour those fucks is very important for your energy because at the end of the day, you've got no more fucks to give. So if
Yep.
someone pulls out in front of me, right, and I'm going to give them energy about it, I'm losing the fucks that I can put elsewhere. But unfortunately,
Mm.
right, at the same time, it's like this kind of conflict, right? Like that person pulling me, like cutting me off in line or something like that, and then I'm becoming like reactionary to it. I'm giving them the finger, I'm calling them out. That's because I have betrayed myself elsewhere. I have not shown up for myself elsewhere, and it's an underlying issue. There's a different conflict going on. This isn't the real conflict. Like this guy that cut me off, I don't know this guy. So why am I pouring all my energy out there? Because I've not been pouring my energy where I should be pouring my energy. I've been pouring the energy into the things that I should be giving a fuck about. The things that like add back to my fuck cup, right? The things that don't just take away from it. And so the whole, I could speak about the nice guy, kind man thing for a hot minute, but I think a lot of people do understand this concept now, and we're getting better at it collectively. People are becoming more comfortable sharing their conflict, like as in being confrontational with people, expressing what they
Mm-hmm.
want. And that's one of the biggest things that I get guys to do is if they are in that kind, or if they're in that nice guy syndrome, I get them angry because I want to get them to a point where they feel comfortable expressing their anger to somebody that knows that they love them and they have their love held in that space,
Mm-hmm.
because then they can push past that point and get to the point where they can actually express what it is they do want in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Man, I love the perspective you shine on that, where it's because there can be guilt, at least there was for me when I learned, oh, I'm being a nice guy. I am a nice guy, and I've been a nice guy most of my entire life. There was so much guilt and shame that came up for me. But you just painted it in such a beautiful picture of like, brothers, it's okay. And it's okay to come home. You don't have to be that anymore. You deserve to express yourself. You deserve to get your needs met. You deserve to be showing up with kindness, and that comes from expression, from actually taking up space in the room. That
Mm.
perspective is like a welcome home. Like, let's go. You don't have to stay stuck back there
And
anymore. And I hope
yeah,
I hope that any guys listening to this hear this and like, oh, it's not bad to reach out for help. It's not bad to say like, I'm not happy living my life the way I am. I feel tightness in my chest. I feel suppressed, and I don't have to do this anymore.
and like yeah, you nailed it on its head. Like it's coming back home. Like it's realizing that if you express what you want, if you express your truth, you will notice the people around you. Like either they change, as in the actual people change because now you're expressing your truth. You're going to be a magnet to the people that want that for you. You're not going to have fake and phony people in your life as well, because that's the other side of the things. It's like too often we're doing this as being that nice guy to people please, because what we said earlier is that fear of abandonment, that fear of rejection, all those fears that come associated with that, instead of just being our authentic selves, to then have the authentic people in our lives come to us and embrace us for who we are and love us for who we are and accept us for who we are, because they will. Because when you are authentic, it's like it's a natural magnet. You just attract the right people in your life.
Yeah, amen. So it's worth it. And it's scary. I was just talking with a client about this literally an hour before we got on this show here, and basically saying like it's okay to step into the scary unknown newness to get a new life.
Hmm.
Face the fear, face the uncertainty, and know that you deserve to let it all go, to let it all
Right.
fall behind you and step into a new being. It's going to feel really good. And like you just said, you're going to attract a whole new surrounding, people, opportunities, all of that. Life gets way more beautiful when we step into the unknown.
Oh, doesn't it what? And I think our journey, like on reflection from this past year, has been a great, a great showcase for exactly that. Um, and one of the, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's just such a beautiful expression when you do see people make that change as well. And of course, it's scary because it's something that you have been doing you've been running this old, outdated program for so long that this change, and change is always scary. This change is new. However, the way that I frame it to people as well is, Jonathan, you've been living this people pleaser life up until this point, and this is where it's gotten you. It's like, what would shift, or what would your life look like if you started actually asking for what you do want? Like, you know that this doesn't work. You know that this isn't getting you what you want. You know that this life hasn't served or fulfilled you. What does that look like when it does?
Whew. Amen. Dreaming into a future
Mm.
that feels good is such a powerful tool. Yeah, man. I
Like
love that you're doing
manifestation,
this.
like just
And
seeing it.
yeah, amen. Well, yeah, I hope all the guys listening to this right now just this probably resonates with you at some level. And I'm curious, Jack, what did it feel like to you to live as a nice guy? Because maybe this concept is still not sinking with some of the audience, but feelings do resonate with people. So I'm curious to
Mm.
hear a little bit more about what did it feel like for you?
Right, right. Well, at the, I guess, because that was up until again probably that 3 years ago mark, that when I said I was on that healing journey. There was self-awareness for
Hmm.
the past 10 years, but 3 is for healing. Um, Now through that, I was I was always saying yes to people, right? Like if somebody asked me for a favor, of course. Like, I am a man of service, right? That is something that is authentically me and that's within there. However, this would be not just me helping people that ask for help, but me going out of my way trying to help people that haven't yet asked for help, right? Like, oh, you're doing that thing, can I help you with that, right? It's like it's taking away from me. Like I was drained all the time. I didn't have the energy to actually be doing these things. I wasn't feeling fulfilled by any of these things. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't like people were seeking me out to do these things that I was helping them with. And then I wasn't ever doing the things that I wanted to do. I didn't have any time for myself, right? Like I might have had my structure of sure training, working my business, doing those things, right? But where was me? Where was my time for playing guitar? Where was my time for catching up with my mates? Where was my time for just pottering around in the garden, say like whatever it is that I wanted to do, like get some sunshine, like going to the beach, whatever it
Yeah.
was. Like I didn't find time for any of that. So
Mm.
my internal self was hating me. Like there was just this like a war inside of me between the guy that I was being to please everybody because of these stories that I've been told as a child to the man that I knew that I actually should be, because I could consciously see this as well. Like I was at least aware at some point that I was being this nice guy, and that is just in itself manipulative. And that's not who I am. Like I didn't want to be that guy anyway. Like so there was this huge disconnect internally and lost, powerless, directionless. Um, yeah, it was not a good time. And like, but it's not something you're super aware of until you reflect back on it, and then you see those moments, and you're just like, oh, that was a moment where I didn't choose me. I didn't show up for me
Hmm.
then.
Hmm. Yeah, man. R.I.P. the nice guy. Hearing you talk about that just reminds me of like what it felt like, and I still feel those invitations to be the nice guy come up. However, now I witness them, I see them. It's like, no, return to sender. I don't want to open this invitation. I don't even want to do this because I know what it felt like. And yeah, I appreciate you sharing what it felt like for you because it's very similar to me. And to add on to that, from my perspective, it always felt like never getting my needs met. And I had so much
Mm,
resentment and frustration to the outside world, no matter how nice I was, like you were saying, to doing things for people, supporting people, um, doing what we call in this work covert contracts. Basically, in my mind, saying, "Well, I'm going to do this for you, and then you're going to do that for me," but then never voicing that
mm,
contract and expecting it to someone to hold up the end that I never communicated. And so there would be so much resentment and frustration, outbursts of anger, mood swings. And this displays it's not the same for everybody. But really, what it comes down to, and I think all nice guys, whichever side you experience, it really comes down to not getting our needs met.
mm,
And I mean, Dr. Robert Glover, the guy that wrote this book, he talks about how it's because when we were kids, we didn't get our needs met and we believed that we weren't supposed to get our needs met.
mm,
However, because we're human and we want our needs met, we're still going to try to get our needs met. And we basically sell our soul trying to accomplish that because we just become these men that are in, or these boys that are in men's bodies,
yeah.
just trying to get our needs met, but doing it in ways that sells our soul, and it just sucks and it feels lonely. So, yeah, maybe that resonates with some of the men listening that find themselves at that place in their life where they're just waking up to this. And if you are, I just want to say congratulations because it
Mm,
gets better from here.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It
Jack,
really does. That's
what is, yeah, go ahead.
no. I don't. Yeah. I just sorry. I just chimed in then. Like when you said it gets better. Yeah. Like I can't express that enough, right? Like when you start walking that path of authenticity from and because that can look like however it looks like to you, right? Like authenticity is different for everyone. It's just how you show up as you, right? That's all it really is. But when you stop playing that nice guy and you move into the kind man, you feel it. You feel a respect from people. You feel your presence change, right? It's like and like what does this come from and like how do we get there? You realize that you're worthy. You realize that you have value. You realize that you matter and you realize that your needs should get met, but you need to express them. You need to express your wants. You need to express your needs. Like for me personally, when I was a child, it was like the feeling that, like you said, our needs aren't going to be met, and so we get this expectation that they're not going to be. So for me as a child, it came down to not expressing them. So for however many years, from probably when I was like 5 to like 25, 26, 27, I didn't express my needs or wants, if like barely at all, because I didn't feel like it was a safe environment to do so. I didn't feel like they were going to get met anyway, so why would I bother? And then you go down this horrible, insular, you know, internal dialogue that's very degrading, that puts yourself down, that makes you feel like shit, so then you don't express it anyway, and then that becomes a whole thing. And so then you focus on other people being the nice guy. So yeah, when you said it gets better, I was just like, fuck yeah, it does. It really does.
Yeah, I love that you just shared again what it felt like for you because for me it was a little bit different where I would express my need after seeing that it wasn't going to be met. And so it would be anger and resentment. I would make these covert contracts. So like, especially in relationships, this was huge in my ex marriage and all these things where it's like, I'm going to be this man. I'm going to do all these great things for this woman. And then she's going to do all these great things for me. But that was never communicated
Mm,
or agreed upon. And so then, I'd be the guy that was like, well, we haven't had sex in a week, and that's not fair. I do all these things for you or whatever it was. So it created like this yo-yo of super nice guy, sweet guy, and then an asshole and getting mad. That was like well, I used to have borderline personality disorder. So it was like back and forth, right? Push,
hmm
pull, avoidant, anxious, all that stuff. And so it definitely displays different in everyone, but it just comes down to not showing up as the king of our kingdom, which brings us into like JR, you and I, which I called you Jack, please forgive me. I know you go by JR. You and I now at a different place in our lives of intentionally building our kingdoms, taking up
mm.
space and embodying more of this powerful, beautiful masculine energy. What has that felt like for you on the contrary?
Mm. Man, what a question. They just gave me goosebumps, bro. Um, yeah, like if it felt I love the way you put it earlier. It felt like returning to home. It really did. Like it felt
Mm,
like this is the who I've known I've always been inside since I was a child. Like I remember like I used to go to church a lot. Like we were a church going family, and so Saturday night we'd go down to church, me, my brother, my mum, dad, and my nan, and I love the family experience of that. However, I was ADHD back then, just as I am now, so paying attention in church was a little bit of a time. But I remember feeling back
same.
then that there was a specific moment that I was just thinking about, and I don't know why, but I was thinking about the man that I wanted to become. And I'd never become that man until obviously like in the past couple of years, like where I'm becoming that man. And it's almost like that little boy is so proud and he's like he's like he's so excited. And it's not like this excitement that needs to be squashed and this proud thing that needs to be pushed away. Like it's a genuine, I am proud of who I've become, and that little boy in me is now safe. He's taken care of. He doesn't feel like he needs to lash out. He doesn't feel like he needs to hold his expectations or his needs or his wants back. You know, I've got a story that I know is resonating with people. I know that I'm making a difference in the world, and I can feel that difference in my immediate community. I can see that difference in a wider community from the men that I get to speak with. Being able to step into that power, being able to step into my true masculine, and with that as well comes embracing those parts of me that I thought were not part of being a masculine man when I was young, like as in during that time I was growing up, those parts of me that I'd pushed away, my ability to be empathetic, like, feel someone else's situation so much, my ability to really understand what someone else is going through, like my ability to feel has been suppressed for so long, but it's always been up here, right? Like I've always had a high ability of feeling, but I've pushed it away for so long, thinking that that emotional side of me made me weak. And so it wasn't until recently, obviously, learning all of these things that I realized that that emotional capacity is one of my greatest strengths and superpowers. Like that's what allows me to relate and connect with other people. That's what gives people the understanding that I know where they're coming from. And then allows me to push them just the right amount at the right time to get them to make the transformations that they're looking for. So becoming this man, becoming this king, becoming this divine masculine man, like embracing this divine masculinity, this has been, yeah, the hardest journey of my life. But every single thing that I've ever done in my life has led me up until this point. I know that for a fact. Like I know that I had to go through all those challenges when I was younger. I know that I had to unburden myself of this egotistical, this BS bravado bullshit mask that I had created so that I could become the real authentic me. And stepping into that has been liberating, has been fulfilling, has been exciting, rewarding, scary, everything all at once. And it's opened up opportunities, doors, people, new things, new adventures that I just didn't expect that I would ever have in such a short space of time. So from where I am now, if like, and this journey is never complete. So I'm excited for who I become tomorrow and every other day after that, whilst being proud and so gracious of the man that I am today.
Yes, man. And I celebrate you as a fellow king for sitting here saying what you just said, and not just saying it, but feeling it, being it. That's huge.
It's a powerful
It's
step.
it is, man, and it is possible for all of us men because yeah, we were given a false image of what it looks like and feels like to be a man. However, there's nothing more manly and more courageous and more respected by the feminine, including women, when we say, hey, I am going to create a new image of what it means to be a man, my own version of this.
Mm.
This means I'm probably letting go of all the old stuff I've clung to that have made me a man. I'm letting it go. I'm not afraid of how the world sees me. I don't care how the world sees me. I'm going to build myself from the ground up. And yes, I feel like I'm a nice guy right now. How do I change? And to get mentors, to get other brothers that are ready
Mm.
to support you and push you forward. There's nothing more strong than that. And it's crazy how fast shit changes
Mm-hmm.
because just like you and I, JR, we're sitting here talking about this. I didn't realize I was a nice guy until 2022. We're sitting here in 2025 right now. Everything has completely shifted in my
Mm.
life. The way I show up in business rooms, the way I show up in relationships with women, the way I relate to my own feminine energy, the sacred union that I've created on the inside. This shift, time's not real. You can change everything
Mm-hmm.
so quickly. It's not about the time that it takes or doesn't take. It's about the experience, and it's possible for all of us. So this is why brotherhood is so
Mm.
important. And again, JR, just thanks for what you're doing for men out here. And anybody listening to this, I'm going to put all of JR's links and everything so you can contact him, follow his work, hire him as a mentor, get this kind of stuff in your life because we deserve it. Again, we're worthy of stepping into the kings that we've always wanted to be since we were little kids.
Mm. Yeah, and I think you put it fantastic. Again, like there's a reason why we click so much, Jonathan. Like the way you speak is just, yeah, you nail what's in my head. When you spoke about brotherhood there, like that is so underrated. Like I cannot stress this enough, right? Like for eons, for generations. We have sat around the campfires. We have like sat around with our brothers and spoke stories. We have gone hunting with them and spoke stories. Like this is where we were able to like, and without even going into all the other stuff that we used to do as generationally like ago, right? It's like brotherhood, brotherhood, brotherhood. If you don't have like a group of people around you who are pushing you to become a better version of yourself, who are holding you like accountable for the things that you said you wanted to improve or stop doing. Like if you don't have those people around you, how can you expect to level up, right? It's like they say that we're a sum of the 5 people we surround ourselves most with. Now, I think there's an element of truth to that, and there's an element of truth to where the sum of the people that we compare ourselves to. So maybe those people that we compare ourselves to aren't even the people in our physical vicinity, but they might be people online, right? At least if you have that and you have some kind of conceptualization, then you're going to be able to move forward way faster than someone's doing it alone. But actually having those people around you, actually being able to lean on them as well. And that's the thing, you've got to lean on them. You can't just have them there and be like, oh yeah, they can help me whenever, but you don't actually ask them for help. Then what's the fucking point of having them around, right? It's like these
Yeah.
people want to see you succeed and you want to see them succeed. It's like, why aren't you doing the things that you need to do to get there, to get to that point? And I was very lucky that I had mentors along the way that they didn't realize they were my mentors, right? And which I think is a very interesting thing when you have that kind of relationship. And
Yeah.
they appeared just when I needed them, and then they disappeared, I guess, when I was finished with them. Like that whole the teacher appears thing, right? And so I was been very lucky to have these mentors that upon reflection I've looked back and then realized that that's what they were. And so I try to take on their lessons that they've taught me so that I can pass them on to other people as well. And building, yeah, those people around me that physical, and it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be 50, 100 men. Like if you've just got 3 to 5 to 10 guys like that you can catch up with, you can share your struggles with, right? And you can just spitball, you can brainstorm things. You will be so much further ahead in life than those that choose not to, or those that just choose to have drinking buddies, right? Because that's the other thing.
Hmm.
Most guys think they've got friends, they've got drinking buddies. You don't have friends. You've got people you go drinking with.
Woo. That's a viral clip right there. It's so true though. Like I was just talking to the same client earlier about this same topic of why do we spend time with people? You know, and it's a lot of times to connect and to um, exchange energy. However, we're so tied to we need to eat and drink to spend time together. We need to consume things to spend time together. And we were talking
Mm,
about this because he's on a juice fast right now. You know, a lot of my clients are always fasting, and he's fasting right now. And he was asking like, how do I go be sociable with my friends while I'm not eating anything? I said, well, do you need? I said you're the light in the room, right? Like that's why you go hang out with people to be a light in your friends' lives. Do you need food or drink to be a light? And he's like, oh my god, no, I don't. And
mm,
it's well, perfect example of shit happens and men keep trucking.
hmm. Yeah, that's exactly
All
right.
right, so we're back. Little technical difficulties there. Um, I'm not sure what we were talking about. However,
Fasting, and being the light in the room.
you're right. Good memory, man. So yeah, basically the point with that was um, we are the light in the room. We don't need all these substances. So what kind of friends are we spending time with? You because you were talking about drinking buddies.
Mm,
So it really just comes back to the
mhm,
question that we all deserve to ask ourselves is why are we spending time with people? What are we
mm,
getting out of it? And again, it goes back to what you said, you know, those top 5 people. We deserve to have quality people around ourselves because for me, it always inspires me to update my self image. When I find myself hanging out around high performers, I'm like, oh,
mhm,
I am a high performer. Let's keep going.
mm, mm.
So
Oh, you're
that's
exactly
it.
right. And like being able to like also what I find so interesting, right, is this reflection, right? It's like because I've got a lot of I've got quite a few clients that they struggle with their own self-worth, but they have this high perceived worth of other people in their life, right? And so they have these people that they assume are up here with their whether it's their intelligence level, whether it's their ability level, like whatever it might be, right? But they think that they're down here. So what then I try to flip the script on them is saying, well, do you think that these really smart people would want to be hanging around a dumb fuck, right? Or like someone that's incapable of doing X, Y, Z? And it's this instant, oh yeah, oh hold a minute. Okay, maybe I do have some value. Maybe I am this smart person. Maybe I do belong in this room. And you can just see this shift within their within their bodies. And then you see them sit up a little bit straighter in their chair, like pull their head back a little bit better. And you're just like, that's it. That's it, man. Carry yourself like that.
Mm. Yeah, amen. I love that switch. It's just a great perspective shift because I always say this, but our perspective is our reality. So if we want our
Mm,
reality to shift, we just shift our perspective and everything changes.
it's easy
Nice.
as that.
Woo, man, we've talked about what it felt like to be a nice guy, what it feels like now to be away from that and to be building on a solid foundation, to be building this kingdom as these kings that take up space and to get our needs met by communicating. What are what are a few or one or something? What comes to mind when I ask for an actionable step that the men listening can can do
Mhm.
to start this shift, this journey?
Well, I've got one, I've got 1,000 things that guys can do, but one of the most powerful and simple questions is that I continue to ask myself, and that I tell people to ask themselves this quite often. What am I currently doing in my life that is holding me back from the life that I want to live? Now,
Mm.
you ask yourself that question, I guarantee you will have answers, right? It's like you will immediately feel things coming up. Now, maybe they're not the answers that you want to hear. They're almost definitely not going to be the answers that you want to hear. But you ask yourself that question, boom, you get this coming up. Now, another thing that I would suggest to guys that might be struggling with, whether it's limiting beliefs, whether it's the nice guy syndrome, whatever it is like think on the moments that you feel triggered in your life. What are the things that are coming up for you when you feel triggered by something, by someone, and then what is that trigger? And so you want to be reflecting on what specifically is bringing up the emotion and what that emotion is. So whether it's in a relationship, you have a fight with your partner, maybe you feel disconnection, right? And then when did you very first ever in your life feel that feeling? So that disconnection feeling. And then that is the thing that you need to heal within yourself to be able to move forward from that. Because otherwise, you're going to keep being triggered by that same thing. So, for example, if that's the feeling of my needs won't be met. When did I first experience that? Okay, that was when I was 6 years old. XYZ happened. Right. It's like I'm not that little boy anymore. It's like, so this shouldn't be triggering this. I can now, like, I need to be able to tell myself that I'm safe to express my needs. This person wants to hear me express my needs. And then I also want to express my needs. Like, telling myself that I want to express my needs and I should express my needs and I have them valued. Couple of very simple things right there, but you start doing that on a daily as well, like working out what's triggering you, working out what the emotion underneath it actually is, working out when the first time you felt it was, man, you'll have a year's worth of healing done in 2 weeks. Like, I promise you
Woo.
that. Like,
Those are awesome, man. Awesome actionable steps. So the first one was
what am I currently doing that's holding me back from the life that I want to live?
beautiful. And the second one was
Dive deep into understanding what your trigger is in a situation. So sit in that trigger. What's that emotion underneath that trigger? And when was the first time in your life you ever felt that emotion?
and then sitting with that to heal the root, to get to the root cause, just like I always talk about in regenerative health. We're working on the root cause issue.
Yes.
Man, those are so good. And as always, I talk about how it takes spaciousness to make any changes in our lives. And as men, like you've talked about multiple times on this show, is we get caught up in serving, working, providing. We get so busy and so run down that we don't have the spaciousness to even take inventory of what's going on in our mind, our thoughts, our emotions, our body. And so it's really important, men, for this day and age, we need to create self love time to
Mm.
just sit with self. I call it throning, where you literally get on a tree stump or a bench or a chair in your backyard, whatever it is, and you just sit there like the king that you are on your throne. It even helps if you have a staff in your hand, and you don't accomplish anything. You don't serve any purpose other than just being, because that allows us to have
Being.
time to think. And I mean, I do this every morning. Before my day starts, I meditate. I just take time to journal and just sit there. Sometimes I just don't do anything but just sit and think, because then that allows me to do exactly what you're talking about. What's
Hmm.
underlying here? What needs my attention? Because none of the people we're serving, the wife, the kids, the employees, the employers, whoever, none of them are going to help us figure out what's going on the inside of us. It's up to us and the brothers in our lives.
Yeah.
Man,
Again,
JR,
you just nailed it. Scheduling stillness. No your phones, no
ooh,
emails, no distractions. Schedule stillness into your day. Yeah.
scheduling stillness. I'm going to steal that. I love that.
Please do.
Beautiful. Yeah, man, I think that wraps this up. Anything else you want to touch on?
No, look, man, I feel like we could talk for hours. We could talk for hours. So there could be all the things that we could touch on. But man, thank you so much for having me on. I've loved catching up with you. It's been too long. Let's not have it this long between our next catch up. And yeah, I would love to dive deep again. Maybe push on you a little bit harder and find out more about your journey.
Epic, man. Would love to, bro. Would love to. Yeah, thank you again for talking about this and sharing all the wisdom that you have picked up on the long, lonely nights, the times of questioning whether you believed in yourself, all the stuff, the dark times is where the
Mm,
beauty comes from. And that's why, like, I give all the love and respect to all of us warriors on the journey that have gone through the stages we've gone through, so that we can share the light with other people, because we're all just one big family helping each
mm.
other.
We're all just walking each
So,
other home.
all just walking each other home. Man, you've dropped a lot of good one-liners that I love.
Can I give you one more then? Our pain
Yeah.
is our purpose.
Our pain is our purpose. I love that.
Like you gotta feel it to heal it, and I think that's part of it, right? Understanding that your pain has purpose, and you drive that into something. This is what it becomes. It can become something like this, right? Look at where we are, and all of you brothers out
Yes.
there, you can do the exact same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's always a gold nugget in every single moment.
Mhm.
And of course, again, we need the spaciousness, the silence. So, guys, get out there and schedule some silence.
Mhm.
And when you're ready, go to the links below this video, contact JR, reach out to him, follow him on Instagram. Um, Follow this guy's work. He is always putting out good stuff. I'm on his email list. He is constantly sending me emails, and these are not emails that I just send to the spam folder like most of the other subscriptions we're all on, because they're short, they're simple, but they're full of the one-liners. They're full of the applicable steps that we just talked about. And guys, it's up to us. The women are waiting. The
Mm.
world is waiting for us to step into taking up space, using our voice, our bodies to create more harmony and balance in this world. So let's get after it. JR, thank you so much for being here, brother. Love you so much, man. Let's keep crushing it.
Thanks so much, Jonathan. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Big love, guys. Peace.
Peace.